Hi, I'm Nate, commercial urban farmer in south central Indiana. Let's talk about microgreens, my most profitable and favorite crop. I'll show you how to turn seeds, a few supplies, and a sales process into a viable business in under 2 weeks. Let's get started.
When you're first starting out, it's very important to source high-grade information. Spend a day or two, just go through all the resources you can, write everything down, and come up with a comprehensive plan, and then just act on your plan. So let me give you 4 places to go to check out to find good information. Number 1 is YouTube, where you're at right now. So just search on YouTube for growing microgreens, and then go through all the videos you can, spend a bunch of time, and write down any good tips that you find. Number 2, search Amazon for books. There's a lot of books on growing microgreens. I've only read one of them and it wasn't that great, so I don't want to recommend it. But I know there are some even new ones that have pretty good information, so one of those is probably worth buying or checking out from your library. Number 3, if you're doing more than just growing microgreens, if you have a commercial micro farm or an urban farm, check out the course Profitable Urban Farming. I'll put a link to that down in the show notes. Curtis and Luke have a lot of experience growing microgreens. They go into everything. They have videos, and it's just a wealth of information for starting a farm profitably. Number 4, selfishly, check out microgreensfarmer.com. You can put your email address in there, and I'm going to get into a lot of the techniques and strategies for selling microgreens. So that's kind of unique to what a lot of people are doing. This is absolutely essential. You're going to want to record everything you do for your microgreens business and keep it on a Google spreadsheet. Google Sheets are great because they auto-save. You can access them anywhere and even input the data on your phone, and then you can end up sharing them with people or collaborators if you hire employees. And you will just need to keep good records because it will allow you to measure your profit margin. And if you have a problem come up, you can refer to your notes and diagnose what went wrong. I create a separate spreadsheet for each of the varieties I grow, which as of right now I have 4 different varieties. Here are all the things I recommend you start recording in the beginning. And after you get everything fully locked in and established, you can stop recording a few of these data points. Because they'll always be the same. But in the beginning, record everything. Record the seed you are using, the variety and seed company that you got it from, the date and time you soaked and sanitized for any crops you soak and sanitize, the date and time seeded, the weight of the seed used per tray. And I'm going to put notes for all these things below in the video, so you don't have to write them all down right now. The weight of the seed used per tray. So that's a stat that I no longer record because my seeding density is locked in. But I would if I was testing a new variety. Seed technique notes. This is stuff I no longer record as well, but in the beginning I recorded like whether I covered it with a paper towel or left it uncovered, or how many flats I stacked for germination, or if I covered with an empty flat for germination, stuff like that. Record growing conditions, how many lights are assigned per tray, the time and date you place them under the lights, daily temperature and humidity readings, your fan or airflow strategy used, your watering strategy. Record your harvest date and time, how many days to harvest, your harvest technique, how did you cut them, did you wash or dry, weigh your crops and record the yield, and then have a notes section where you can jot anything else that you do out of the ordinary that could affect your crop yield or growth.
You don't truly have a business unless you're selling your products, and you need to be selling 90% at least of what you're growing, or else you're going to be losing money. So focus on the selling. And to do this, I recommend you start a new document for each of your sales channels. So if you're going through farmers market, restaurants, direct to consumer, or wholesale to CSA or grocery stores, create a separate document for each of those, and then write out your sales process, what you want to do to sell that, and then create a couple different ones and test them against one another. This is kind of like split testing, that a lot of internet companies do. It's the same concept. So you try each of those sales processes on a few restaurants or grocery stores, and whichever one seems to work the best, you keep that. You erase the other one, and then you can create another process to test against the first one. So for restaurants, one of your things might be to just stop in the restaurant randomly and drop off a sample in a fresh sheet. Just give it to anyone there, leave it there, and then a week later call or email them back to see how they like their samples and try and get an order. And then you might test that against calling ahead to the restaurant and trying to schedule a 5-minute meeting with the chef. And during the 5-minute meeting, just saying hi, giving him your samples, and then following up with the chef 2 days later. So you'd see which one of those works the best, and test them each on a few restaurants. Keep the one that does work the best, and then you can have a new one that you test against that eventually. Like, say you want to follow them on social media for a while and like their stuff, and then approach them there kind of casually to see if they want to try some microgreens. So that's an example of how you could do the split testing and create your documents for your sales strategies and take your sales seriously.
Keep it as simple as possible when starting out. Focus on just 1, 2, maybe 3 varieties max, and start growing those on a simple small setup with just 1 light, 1 or 2 lights max, and then start making some sales. And as you have sales coming in, you can always expand and go bigger, but just keep it simple to start.